Hey everyone, and good evening. This is the continuation of the 7 days that I play through. I did go ahead and finish the mission that we were on last night. I also took some time, chopped down a whole bunch of trees, got myself some wood, created myself some building cubes so that I could continue building the base. We're on day 5. It did take me a couple of days to do that, and I also put down a dew collector so that I could start taking care of the food and drink situation and making sure that that wouldn't be an issue while I spent some time building the base up. So I have 500 building blocks to start with. I have some cobblestone and I have some wood to do upgrades. I did take some time and upgrade what we already built. I didn't add to it, but I did upgrade it so that that would make it easier to pick up where we left off. I didn't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me just basically right-click blocks for an hour. So that's where we are. I'm going to go up into the base. You can see I did put down another fire so that I could process drinks as well as food, and that just made things a little bit easier. I did have some food, but I've used it up, so I'm going to have to take some time and make a little bit more, which we'll do right now. I left the crates down here at the bottom. I will eventually move these up to the top so that they're not in the way. But for now, I think they'll probably be okay. Eventually, I'll be making a workshop building onto the back of the hoard base, which is what I usually do. I build them either next to each other or one behind the other so that they're easy to access. In the meantime, I'm going to boil myself some meat. Well, no, actually I'm not. I'm going to grill myself some meat. So that way I don't die of starvation, because that would be bad. I did do a couple of missions to basically build up my supplies so that it wouldn't be a problem and it wouldn't take up a whole bunch of time. You guys don't have to sit here and watch me do virtually nothing. I'm going to take a second here and build up the platform. The zombies won't mess with the platform unless it's a way for them to get to you directly. So you can build little platforms and only slightly upgrade them, or not even upgrade them at all, and the zombies won't mess with them. I usually do it for aesthetics, just to basically make things look better. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, and this just happens to be mine. But in the meantime, we're going to go back up. We're going to finish, or at least try to finish building the walls in the base, and then we'll pick up where we left off. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build up the corners. So that we can eventually put a roof on this. And we'll do that on both sides to start with. The reason we're not just building everything is the inside and outside corners, when it comes time to do upgrades, can be a little difficult to reach if you just fill everything in. So we're going to basically build up, and then we're going to upgrade what we built, and then build the rest. Now it is nighttime, or actually I guess I should say early morning. So it will be getting lighter out soon. Sorry about it being so dark, but that will eventually be that problem will eventually be solved here pretty shortly. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with the opening here. And one of our neighbors is coming to visit. We'll give them the proper welcome. And down she goes. Okay. Bear in mind that if you're harvesting or making noise at your base, it will increase the chance of zombie encounters, along with having a fire going. It increases the heat, what they call the heat level for the area. So when you have enough heat, it automatically spawns zombies and spawns a zombie encounter. So it is something to keep in mind while you're building, that you want to keep an ear out and an eye out for invaders. The last thing you want to do is have a whole horde of zombies invade your base while you're trying to put it together, because that never ends well. So we're filling the wall. Now, it's day 5. The blood moon is on day 7, so we basically have a day and a half. We have until 10 o'clock on day 7. That's when the blood moon starts, and it goes until 4 a.m. So basically sundown to sun up. And so what we want to do is we want to maximize our time and build as much as we can. Now, I did get some cobblestone while I was out gathering supplies. So what we'll do is we'll upgrade the front of the base to cobblestone. Basically, the areas where we're going to have the zombie encounters at. We want to make sure to reinforce it as much as possible, so that the zombies won't destroy what we've managed to build so far. Okay, so now we have walls. Now we're going to build the ceiling, but we're going to build it in a slightly different way. Also, we're going to take advantage of the torch. We're going to drop the torch there. That'll make it easier for everybody to see what's going on inside the building. Sorry, folks, I forgot about that. I meant to do that earlier and just didn't think of it until just now. Alright, so we'll finish reinforcing this area. Get our wood on both sides, so that this way it makes it just a little bit more difficult for the zombies to destroy the walls. It's very easy for them to destroy building blocks. The wood, while it's not the strongest material out there, will definitely make it so that they have to use more than one hit to break it. Alright, now, what we're going to do is we are going to place a panel right here. We're going to place it flat against the wall. So we want to select on face, and that'll put it up against whatever we're pointed to. And we're going to pick up the torch temporarily, and we'll put the panel there, and we'll just drop the torch back down again. Oh, no, that's not where I want it. We're going to have to put it over here. There. So this way we're lit up enough so that everybody can see. See how this works. So what we're going to use is we're going to use railings. And the reason we're going to use railings is we can shoot through railings, and we can also shoot through bars. But we can also pick things up through railings. So we're going to switch to catwalks. We'll go down to the railing. We'll select the railing. And what we're going to do is we're going to place the railings like this. Straight across, one side to the other. Oops. Okay, I could have done a better job there. There we go. Okay, and now you don't necessarily have to use more than one, but I use 2 layers of railings, one on the bottom down here, and then what we'll do is we'll go over here. We have our little walkway here. We're going to switch, and we're going to put in a ladder. It's going to be uncooperative, so go back and switch the ladder again. There we go. Okay. Now we don't necessarily have to worry about not putting this one to the ground like we did with the ones down here to keep the zombies from climbing them, because if they can't get up the first set of ladders, they won't be able to get to the second set of ladders. We're going to close up the front of the base, and they won't have any way to get up top. We will have to watch for flying creatures like vultures. I don't know if there's any creatures other than the vultures in the new update so that fly, so I guess we'll find out when we get that far. Okay, so we're gonna extend the wall up a little bit here because I have had the zombies climb the walls in the front. What I do is I put down flat panels against the wall just to add reinforcement, and sometimes they'll catch the edge of the flat panel. And so I want to make sure that they can't climb up and do damage to my walls. And they can't get up on the roof, because if they can get up on the roof, we're going to be putting a door in the back, but it also gives them another way to get to us. Okay, so we're going to copy the shape. And in the interest of consistency, we're going to try to orient the pieces all the same. Like so. So we have one set of rails at the bottom, and then we have one set of rails up here, and we can also repair through the first set of rails. So we can repair the rails up top here from the inside by not targeting the first set of rails. So if we're down here at the bottom and we want to repair, all we have to do is basically get in between and target the rail in between like so. And then we'll be able to repair it from there. Alright, so now we're going to do down here at the bottom. We want to do the same thing because we want to be able to shoot through these. So we're going to put a rail there. Like so. Once we do that, we go back here, we select the plate, and we put a plate there, like so. What this will do is it will keep zombies from being able to get to us, but it'll give them an opening so they'll think that this is access. So that way they'll go exactly where we want them to, which is, if we go out here to the outside, it is up the stairs, across the walkway, and to right here. And then we have this stuff to keep them out of trouble. Okay, so we now have, basically we have our horde base mostly built. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce the pathway up to the opening, basically the kill box, with cobblestone. This way the zombies, we won't get bombers until later, and by that time hopefully we'll have concrete and steel. But until then, this will basically keep them from doing too much damage to their one way of getting access to us. See, we can upgrade and repair directly through the rails. All right, now one of the other things we want to do is, in the interest of reinforcing things, we're going to put flat panels on the walls, like so. I'm going to start here and go all the way around the outside, whoop, like so. This just helps to keep them back away a little bit, and makes it so that only the first row can actually do damage to your base. At least that's been my experience. just as an FYI for those of you who haven't played the game before, you will get better tools for upgrading building blocks later on. You'll get a claw hammer, and then you'll get a nail gun. The claw hammer only takes 2 hits to upgrade a block, and the nail gun takes 1. So you'll get better tools later on. It's just that I haven't come across those tools yet. So those are your iron tools. The hammer's an iron tool, and the nail gun is a mechanical tool. So those come later on in the game. We want to basically reinforce anything the zombies might be able to reach. That's why not only did I reinforce the walkway, the stairs, and the 2 panels in the front that'll separate us from the zombies, but the floor in front of it as well, just on the off chance that a cop or a demo zombie gets in and explodes, there's less chance of them destroying our building. Eventually the whole thing will be reinforced, but for now we're a little bit limited on materials, so we basically reinforce what we can, the areas where the zombies will be the most. Now, one of the other things I'm going to do for reinforcement is I'm going to put a little bit of reinforcement under each side of the walkway, and just in the interest of aesthetics, I usually use an angle for that, a ramp. We take the ramp, whoops, okay, that is exactly not what I wanted. There we go. And we turn it around just to make it look good, like so. That adds another layer of reinforcement so that there's less chance that they can destroy the walkway. Okay, and we're going to reinforce this particular pylon straight down to the ground. That way, if they decide to start beating on the outside of my building, it'll take a lot more to destroy. And since I do have more cobblestone than I had originally planned, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce the centerpiece over the room. I think I hear a screamer. This is what we get. Oh, there he is. This is what we get when we make too much noise. And these guys are a little hard to hit because they're so close to the ground, and they have quite a bit of reach. So a little bit of jousting in and out is not a bad thing. Alright. So we're going to reinforce this all the way across. Just for peace of mind. Realistically, the only layer that needs to be reinforced is the outside layer. This is eventually going to be all filled in with blocks. But I do like to get it up to cobblestone because cobblestone is relatively easy to get. It just adds a little bit more structural integrity on the off chance that the zombies manage to get through your outside defenses. Notice there are blocks underneath here that you can't see that are still wood, but unless the zombies manage to break through the first level, they won't ever see those. And so you're reasonably well protected. I'm sure there's probably people out there that would disagree with that philosophy, and you're more than welcome to. This is just the way that I do things. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to reinforce the floor up here because, like I said, once again, I ended up with more cobblestone than I originally expected to. So we can do a little bit extra. Now, my advice to you is don't use all your cobblestone before Blood Moon, because there's absolutely no reason why you can't do repairs while you're fighting zombies. If you get a lull in the action for a few seconds and you want to whip out your hammer and repair some of the damaged pieces, that is absolutely a thing you can do, and I would definitely suggest doing that, because if they manage to break through these two pieces here, well, there's no protection between you and them. And the whole point of this horde base is to keep you as protected as possible. Alright, so I have 290 cobblestone left, so I think I'm going to leave it there. And it's saying that I'm hungry, so it's time to check for some food. Also, when you're not using your fires, turn them off. First of all, it conserves fuel, but also it helps to not increase the heat level of the room, so that you have less chance of zombies coming and trying to eat your face off. Okay, we're going to make 2 storage boxes to put up here. Bear in mind that once you place a land claim block, you can pick up and move a lot of things. The storage boxes cannot be moved. So once you place them down, that's where they stay unless you break them. And of course, you don't get all the materials back when you break them. We'll check our water collection. See, right now it's doing murky water because I don't have a water filter. So that basically means that I'm going to have to depend on using the fire pit to make drinking water, which is what this is here. You can absolutely do that. So there's nothing wrong with that, it just takes time. Also, in my travels, as you may see up here, I did manage to get some concrete. So technically we could reinforce 3 blocks with concrete, because it takes 10 material for each reinforcement. You can also just build them outright, and that's great later for time savings. But bear in mind that you're going to be eating some of the XP you would get from upgrading those. So if you have the time to do it, I would suggest doing it, simply because it's free experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Well, see, I did that the wrong side. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of these 2 crates out in front. I know some people like to have stuff scattered around. Me, I'm a little more OCD. I like to keep things organized. And so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these because they're no longer required. And it'll be one less obstacle for the zombies to try to find their way around. Makes for a more direct path for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here. We're going to take all the materials that I just picked up out of those crates, and we're going to put them in the 2 crates that are here in the building. So we'll take a minute. I don't want to put everything in there because there's a few things I'll need. But what I will do, see, I'm going to need that, is I'll put in there the stuff that all it's going to serve to do is weigh me down. And of course, I organize things as I go. It just makes it easier to find things later on. So we have med kit and we have bandages. I did manage to find a few more cooking pots. Realistically, unless you're going to put down more fireplaces, you don't really need extra cooking pots. You can later on turn those into landmines, which can be fun. But truthfully, I really don't use that many landmines. So make of that what you will. Alright. So now we will go down and we'll get the rest of the stuff from the other crate. We'll break that crate down and get it out of there. So that way we're a bit more organized. Now notice I didn't pick up everything, so I have to make another trip. If you break the crate down with stuff in it, it will drop a backpack, but bear in mind that those backpacks only last for a limited amount of time. So if you drop something and it's something you're going to need, if it's trash, no big deal. But if it's something you're going to need, don't just leave it there, because eventually it will despawn. Okay. I think that's probably good for now. Oh, see, I forgot the feathers. There we go. I also got myself a pipe pistol. I have not used it yet. I don't generally use pipe pistols because they really don't do enough damage for my taste. Like anything else, everyone has their own preferences on how they want to do things. So if you like the pipe pistol and you're going down the agility line and you're taking quick draw, as a matter of fact, I will show you. If you go down agility, you'll see gunslinger, which gives you more damage with pistols and handguns, and also increases the fire rate and the reload rate. And it also increases the amount of 9mm ammo you find in loot, which is great, but the problem is, once you get down later on, you're not going to need 9mm ammo necessarily unless you're running 9mm turrets. You're going to need 44 mag ammo, because the Desert Vulture, the quote-unquote Desert Eagle, actually uses 44 Magnum, the same as the Magnum pistol. So while it's great in the short term, later on you're going to end up with a box full of 9mm ammunition, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, like I said, especially if you're using turrets. If you're the type of person to like automated defenses, then absolutely keep those. I have changed the way that I play. I used to do that. I have changed the way that I played the game. Found that that's not necessary anymore. Everybody's got their own way of doing it, and if you want to do it that way, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because you're not. But just bear in mind that isn't the way that I particularly do it myself. All right, so what I'm going to do is I've basically got everything moved, and I've got the base set up for the first blood moon. We're pretty much at the point now. Let me see, how much cobblestone do I have? Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to run a few missions. Now, 3 days have elapsed. So actually 4 days have elapsed so far. I have not gotten the drop for the 4th day yet. I do have the other 3 marked on the map, just on the off chance that these little icons disappear off of the compass. I don't have a way to show you those on the top, but if you take a look at the top there, you'll see there's 2 yellow, they look like boxes with parachutes on them. What we're going to do, since we have a little bit of time right now, is we're going to make our way over and we're going to pick those up. These 2 are relatively close to each other, and the other one is in the opposite direction, so we'll take the 2 that are close together first. I did do a little clearing, did do a little scavenging. I checked this field here, didn't find any food in this one, but I did find our little pig friend here, so we're gonna give him the proper welcome again. Alright, now that hurt a little bit, but not too bad. Any chance you have of picking up meat, killing prey animals and harvesting their meat, take it. It's something that will make it easier for you later on. So whenever you get the opportunity, definitely take it out. And I usually, since the pigs are a little dangerous because they can do injury to you, I usually shoot them. But as you saw, I didn't have enough ammo in the machine gun, and it takes several hits to kill them. Because the machine gun's basically just a basic pipe machine gun without any attachments, so it does basic damage. So once you get within 500 meters of the drop, you'll notice that it shows up on your screen. So you can see that here. As soon as it hit 499, that's when it popped up. So we're headed that direction. Otherwise, it will show up on your compass. if you have the option in the game enabled to mark the airdrops. You can turn that off or you can turn it on. I prefer to keep it on because I'm lazy and sometimes I forget that they're out there. So I want to make sure that I know where to find them when I'm ready to actually go get them. Never forget to take the opportunity to hit the enemy when he's down. Just bear in mind that if you stand on top of him and he stands up, he will push you off, and sometimes that can make it very inconvenient to get a good hit on him. So you want to be cautious, even when he's down, even though they will not attack you. But if there's more, first of all, if there's more than one zombie, they can make things difficult. And if he gets up and you happen to be standing on top of him, it will screw up your perspective, and most likely you'll miss. And the last thing we want to do when every hit counts is miss. Notice, we now have both of them on the screen because we're now within 500 meters of both. So we'll get to the one that's 200 meters first, and then we'll go grab the one that's at 430. And of course, scrounging whatever we can along the way. Bear in mind that the more spots you fill in your inventory, the closer you get to being overloaded. Later on, you can get gear that will reduce that number. You can also get skills. There is one under strength called Pack Mule, which is right here, that adds inventory spaces before you're encumbered. And so you can get those, but honestly, I have found that just adding the pocket mods is a much more effective way of doing things. If you're the kind of person that doesn't like to be encumbered and you want to take care of it right away by investing points into it, you can absolutely do that, especially if you're going with, I believe it is shotgun. Yeah, shotgun and sledgehammer. If you're doing either of those and you're already investing points into strength, it might be in your best interest to invest in Pack Mule as well, so that you can use those mod slots in your gear for something else rather than using pockets. I don't do that myself, but again, there's no wrong way to do things. I'm not a big fan of the shotguns in the game, so I don't use them. That's also why I don't pick up a lot of paper, because paper is one of the things you need to make shotgun shells. So if you're using a shotgun and you need ammo, you need paper. So we got a little drink and a little food, along with some mods for melee weapon and skill books. So we're going to take the food and we're going to set it down here. We'll leave that where it's at. I like to keep mine in rows. Everybody's got a different way of doing things. That's just mine. And then we'll open up the books. A couple of knife books. A couple of tactical warfare, which is assault weapons. And off we go to the second drop. Also along the way, you will notice these weird looking rocks. That one happens to be iron. So if you need iron, which you will eventually need once you get the forge, it might not be a bad idea to make note of where these are. Now also bear in mind that when you look at the map, if I zoom in on the map, you'll see little orange squares. Those orange squares are where those rocks are. So you don't necessarily need to know where they are intuitively. All you have to do is look at the map. The gray ones, if memory serves me correctly, are rocks. There are black ones, which are coal, and white ones, which are nitrates for making things like black powder. They're also used in making farm plots, so you will need those even if you don't end up making your own ammunition. We're just going to quietly come up here and grab this first. Eggs are food. Eggs are used in a few different recipes, so it's never a bad idea if you see a bird nest to open it up and loot any of the eggs that are in there. For those of you that like to make bow and arrow, you'll also need the feathers. At least until you get to the steel arrows, because for some reason the steel arrows don't use feathers. I never quite understood that. However, that was the last version of the game, so they may have changed that again. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, there's level 14. So as we go along our merry way, we pick up whatever we can find. Later on, once you get farther into the game and resources are not such a problem, you can be a little more particular about what you pick up. Right now, we need kind of everything, so we're picking up everything along the way. Now, in case you were wondering, that was clay. We need clay and stones to make cobblestone rocks, so that's why I picked up the clay. Alright, so, okay. So, what we got is we got a wrench. Wrenches are used to take apart cars and vending machines. Both are good because cars will give you gasoline, vending machines will give you steel and iron without having to smelt anything. Now, I'm starting to get a little hungry, so I'm going to eat some sham chowder. And a few more books. And it will tell us, okay, so we had a couple of workstation books. We did manage to open up the forge, so now we can build a forge. So I'm just going to take a minute and assess what I have. Now, you can open this mod bundle, but bear in mind that right now it's only taking up one space of your inventory. So it's best to wait to open those up until you're in a position where weight is not a problem. Just basically because invariably when you do that, you're going to end up needing those other spaces and you're going to end up in conflict. Also, part of the reason why I use headshots whenever possible is if you do a headshot and you do a dismemberment, you'll basically cut their head off. Sounds a bit gross, but it is. This is a zombie game, so I guess we got to kind of get used to that. Which will kill them immediately. So you may be able to even with a low level knife. There we go. Sometimes you'll be able to one-shot the zombies, which is always good, especially when you have a pack of them on you. There we go. Speaking of which, when you have a pack of them on you and you're trying to kill them as quickly as possible, or when you're trying to be quiet. We'll grab a couple of vehicles and then we will head towards that other airdrop. It's mostly junk. A little bit of gunpowder for making ammunition later, and keeping an eye on the inventory. See, we're already at 10 slots encumbered. Won't slow you down completely, but it will slow you down substantially, so you always want to keep that in mind. There are also syringes that have steroids. The steroids will make it so that you're not slowed down or encumbered, even if you're full. And that sound you guys can hear in the background means the other airdrop is coming down now, and you can see it there in the distance. So we're headed that way. Hopefully that one is near the other one, which it looks like it may be. So yes, they're relatively close to each other, so we're going to grab them both while we're down there. I have to say, the scenery in this game is actually kind of impressive. I mean, it's a video game, so of course it's not going to look like the real world, but they did a pretty good job of making it at least aesthetically pleasing. Even if you do have to stab zombies in the face with a bone knife. Speaking of which. I let them come to me. If you get a little too enthusiastic, especially with a knife, which you have to get up close, you're going to take some hits. And the whole point is to hit them as much as you can and take as few hits as possible. None is ideal. But if you have to take a hit now and then, it's not necessarily the end of the world. But every hit you take, there is a chance that you can be infected, which means having to use either another antibiotic or another jar of honey to fix it. There we go. There's a one shot right there. So you want to try to avoid getting hit as much as possible. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. You're either in an enclosed space and can't get away, or you get clumsy, or they somehow manage to sneak up on you because there's just too many of them. I'm not a big fan of jump scare horror movies, but I have played this game enough that it really doesn't scare me anymore, I guess. So, yeah, if you're the kind of person that can't do jump scares, this may not be the game for you. But there are plenty of other games out there that are just as much fun. And if you are the kind of person that jump scares are not really an issue, the game can be a lot of fun. So notice they're apart from each other, but they're almost the same distance from the direction that we're coming. And we're getting thirsty again, so we're going to do that. And I hear one coming over there. We'll do a little bit of quick rearranging while we're waiting for him to come our way. The zombies do not move faster in the day. They do move faster at night, and you can adjust. See, there's a hit. You can adjust how fast the zombies move depending on how you want to play. So you can make them move faster, or you can make them move slower. That's entirely up to you and how you want to play the game. I like mine to move not necessarily slow, but a little bit slower than normal, at least at nighttime. So the whole point of the game is to have fun. If you're not having fun, then either adjust the parameters of the game so that you are, or pick a different game. That's the best I can say. And there's a zombie up there to the left. He's going to be coming our way as soon as he realizes that we're here. You'll hear him. Oh, and there he goes. Well, she. Sometimes it's hard to tell the males from the females at a distance. I hear him. He's a big boy, so I'm just going to ignore him for now. I'm not going to chase down every zombie I see. If they're close, and I think they might be a problem, I'll go after them and take them out. But a lot of times, if they're far enough away and they don't see me, I may just keep going. Where you get most of your levels is going to be during blood moons, or what they call horde night. We're going to be doing one of those here pretty soon. Okay, we got him. They always occur at 10 p.m. on the every seventh day. You can adjust that and change how often it happens. See, once again, another melee bundle. Same melee bundle, as a matter of fact. I'm going to leave that intact because we're already a little overweight and we don't want to wear ourselves down even more. Bacon and eggs. Okay. So, as you get more books, you get better stuff. In this particular case, I got cooking books, so now I can make bacon and eggs, which takes an egg and I believe it's 5 meat on a fire, and what that will do is it will give you back, it'll reduce your hunger even more, and I believe it also gives you a little bit of stamina as well. Currently my stamina is at 114, and that will change. You will get a point of stamina for each level you go up. You start at 100, so at level 2 you get to 101, and it goes up from there. You can also get temporary stamina points by eating certain foods. Most of the better food has better bonuses. And the more stamina you have, especially if you're the type to use melee weapons, stamina is important because it's what determines whether you can attack or not, and not just stand there like an idiot and get your face eaten off. Alright, now that I saw a chicken over here, we're going to go see where he went. If they see you first, they will run off, and they'll run off in random directions, which is kind of annoying if you're using something like a bow to shoot them, because the bows tend to be a bit slow. I think we might have lost sight of him. Alright, well, I don't see him around. While it would have been nice to harvest that guy, we're going to just leave him alone. Now, one of the things I want to do is the marks that I put on the map, we're going to go ahead and remove those now that we've already looted all 3 of those airdrops. And actually it was 4, but the last one just dropped, so I didn't have a marker for that one. Alright, now notice, we are pretty... oh, wait a minute. We are pretty much full. So we're going to be moving slow. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do about that. If I had steroids on me, I could use one of those to get rid of the encumbrance for, I believe it's 5 minutes, which is good when you're trying to get from point A to point B. But in this particular case, we don't have one, so we get to dodge zombies as well as move it slow. And notice, when I move backwards, I'm not moving as fast as I was moving before either. So you can get yourself into trouble if you're not careful. And we will make our way back to base. For now, I'm not going to use any jump cuts or time lapses in the videos. I may do that in the future. Truthfully, I'm still a bit new at this, so a lot of the tools I haven't exactly figured out how to use yet. Once I do, I may start adding those in so that you guys don't have to sit here and just listen to me talk incessantly. So I apologize ahead of time. I will be fixing that issue eventually, just not today. We'll find our way back to base, and we'll start making use of some of the stuff we just picked up. Now, I did get quite a few books earlier, and so I can do a few different things. I did upgrade my stone axe to level 2 and upgraded my knife to level 3. I can actually make a higher level knife. It's just that the differences between 3 and 4 are small. So for now, it's not a big deal. I can make a hunting knife, which is the next step up, but I need iron to make that. And I don't currently have a forge set up. We'll probably do that when we get back to base. And so up to this point, there's our little snake friend. Definitely better to go at those with a weapon other than a knife. But the nice thing is, you get meat from them. So later on, we'll have snake and eggs. Hey, that was funny, and that wasn't even intentional. I hear him. He's behind the fence. Yeah, I don't care. It is a little bit annoying walking this slow, but it's part of the mechanics of the game. Now, notice in the distance over there a vending machine. Now, there's two possibilities. Either the machine is functioning or it's not functioning. If it's functioning, we may be able to buy something out of it if we have some cash on us. I only have 24 dukes, so right now that's not something that's even a possibility. But bear in mind that buying from a vending machine is going to be cheaper than buying it from the trader directly. The trader does have a vending machine in the trade post, so it's always a good idea to check the vending machine in the trade post and see if it has anything that you want. One of the other things I did do as well is one of my favorite abilities is parkour. Parkour allows you to take less fall damage, and it also allows you to jump higher. So what you can do is you can take parkour, and a lot of the walls that you were not able to previously jump over, you will now be able to jump over. I have found that particular ability to be very handy, especially when you're trying to get away from zombies. So it is one of the first things that I take when I play the game. Once you get that to level 4, you can jump off some pretty high buildings and not take any damage at all. So it is a very useful skill. There's the bike ramp from yesterday over the car. We walked by that a couple of times. Now, I did mention this yesterday, but I'll mention it again. Some of the cars can't be looted. They're damaged. The ones that can't be looted, or the ones that are on a POI, because every time you do a mission at a POI, it resets whatever's on that POI. I will take the wrench and I will break those down for parts, because you will get mechanical parts, you will get fuel, you'll get scrap iron, and all of those things are useful for building other things later on. And we can see our base in the distance there. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm not going to put the forge in the base, at least not in the horde base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start building our workshop. That's what I call it. And we'll put all of our materials and our tools in there. And eventually what we'll do is we'll relocate all the stuff we have in crates in here to the workshop so that they're all in a convenient location. And we'll put the rest of the stuff that we don't need in here. I didn't notice earlier, but we did manage to pick up 100 wood cubes. Wood cubes are the first upgrade to the building blocks. So we'll be able to make use of those. And I did manage to pick up a splint. I did notice that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our rocks, which are right here. We don't have too many of those left. Okay, so for now, we're not good. I was going to make some cobblestone, but we may need those rocks later on to repair a few tools that we have, so we're going to skip that for now. Alright, now, normally what I would do is I would put the workshop right about here, and I would make a drawbridge that goes from the workshop to the horde base, so that during horde night, I could put the bridge up and That way the zombies would only try to access the hoard base from the front, from basically the stairs. I'm going to try something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it beside the base. I'm going to basically put it over here. And we're going to see how that works out. So what we're going to do first is, I always hit the wrong button. We're going to use our wood blocks. So that way they already have the first upgrade. Now what I want to do, I want to extend this out. Like so. 5 across. Now, bear in mind, when you're building, if the block turns pink, that means if you place that block, everything that's connected to it that isn't supported is going to collapse. We don't want to do that. If you remember correctly, I screwed up and did that yesterday. We don't want to make that mistake again, so we're going to make sure that it's supported on the bottom first. Now, we're going to get a little fancy, because we can. What we're going to do is we're going to place our blocks here, like this. And I need one more layer, because I miscounted. It was 6 and not 5. Bear in mind, I'm just doing this for my own satisfaction, and that's it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the ramps. We're going to rotate them 90 degrees. So we have to go to advanced placement. Ah. And we want to place them in that orientation. Just to give us kind of a little, I don't know, architectural effect. To make it look cool. So when we go up here now, that's assuming I can actually hit the ladder, we have our little platform here. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break right here, and I will be back in about 3 minutes.